This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by G&G Armament and TSD Airsoft. The Classic Army Full Metal M15A4X Series AEG is very similar to the VFC E-Series M4. Now obviously they're the same model gun, just made by different companies, and since they're the same model they're going to share a lot of the same features. For example, the removable carry handle is featured on both guns, as is the LE M4 stock. Both guns feature a functioning charging handle and a functioning bolt catch with bolt release. Both guns feature a one-piece hop-up. The guns are actually very similar in price as well. The VFC is for sale for $280 and the Classic Army is a little bit cheaper at $270. Despite these similarities though, there are a few differences if you look at them very closely. Alright, we'll start from the differences from front to back. As you can see, the Classic Army has a barrel-mounted sling adapter in between the front sight. The VFC does not have a sling adapter at all, but it's included in the box. All you have to do is punch the pin in to the bottom of the rear sight, bottom of the front sight, and you have your sling adapter. Now the difference would be the magazines. The Classic Army comes with a 300-round high-capacity magazine, but the VFC comes with a 118-round mid-capacity magazine. Now the difference that you should be able to see are the pistol grips. Like I said in the previous video about the VFC, the pistol grip is thinner to emulate a real pistol grip. Classic Army has the standard Airsoft M4 pistol grip that's a little wider to accommodate the motor. Now, both guns have a functioning charging handle and bolt catch, or imitation bolt catch. But as you can see, the Classic Army bolt is not staying back. I actually have to push down on the bolt catch in order for it to catch the imitation bolt, and then I can release it. The VFC gun is a little bit more realistic in that the catch is automatic. I don't have to push down on it. All I have to do is push it to release it. So, little extra feature there, a little extra realism from VFC. Both of these guns have the standard M4 LE stock, but one thing that you wouldn't know just by looking at it is that the Classic Army stock actually has 6 positions between, the all the way closed and the all the way open position. The VFC has the same stock. It looks exactly the same. However, it only has 5 positions. As you can see, with the stock all the way closed right here, it's about an inch gap between the end of the stock and the buffer tube. So it only has 5 positions. However, in the completely closed position, you can see the barrels are about the same height. Likewise, when the stocks are completely extended, the guns are the same length. So the VFC has less adjustments, although you're really only going to pick one that's most comfortable for you and leave it there anyway. You probably won't move it. These guns are very similar. The VFC is a little more expensive at $10. They perform very similar as well. They both shoot 400 FPS. But let's go out and find out what the rate of fire is like. After that, we'll interview some of the guys here at Airsoft GI and find out what they think about these two guns. Alright, now we've already established that these guns are very similar. They shoot very similar FPSs as well, around 400 or so. One thing that we don't know yet is the rate of fire. And as far back as I can remember, VFC guns have always had a little higher rate of fire than other guns in its class. So what we're going to do is test the same guns, or test both guns on the same battery. I have an 11-1 LiPo here from King Arms in the VFC. Let's see how fast it shoots. Alright, now let's test it out on the Classic Army. Alright, let's see what the X Series can do. Alright Kevin, I've given you the specs on both guns. If you were to use your own money to buy one of them, which would it be?
Well, I'd have to say the VFC does look better, but I would personally go with the Classic Army, mostly because it is a little bit cheaper. It includes the high cap mag, so don't have to reload as much there. Personally, I would just go with that one.
Well, the VFC looks nice, it's got the laser etching and everything like that, but I personally am a performance-oriented kind of guy. So since they both shoot similarly, gotta save some money here, and I'm gonna go with the Classic Army.
If you were to use your own money, which would you rather buy?
I'd do the VFC. A couple reasons why. When I first started playing Airsoft, I was a huge CA guy. Classic Army was pretty much what it was. It came with a metal body, good internals, they were shooting right out of the box. There wasn't much you had to do to them. But then VFC came out, a couple of years ago. This is their new gun, but one of the things I really like is locking that. I don't have to hold this back when I'm adjusting my hop up, and I don't have to hold the dust cover down like you do on the old CAs to adjust my hop up. It's already there. They're a lot more solid than the old CAs too. There's no wobble. The new ones are nice. They have engraved trademarks instead of laser etched. but they still don't feel as real as the VFCs. They're still a little janky and wobbly. But other than that, I don't mind paying $10 more for a VFC. They're just nicer guns.
Well, I would go with the VFC myself.
And why?
Mainly because I've had the chance to open both guns, and the VFC actually has far better internals than the CA does. Also, the VFC looks a lot better on the outside than the CA.
I think I'd have to go with the VFC.
And why?
Realism is big for me in terms of how I play airsoft. I do like that it's a little bit lighter weight, has a thinner pistol grip just like the real thing, has a mid-cap magazine. I like to run mid-caps on my guns. It is a little bit more realistic. I also prefer the laser etching on the side, just looks a little bit better. Overall, it just has that X factor for a gun that just makes me want it.
I would go with Classic Army.
And why?
I've been using Classic Army since I started Airsoft. It's been reliable, it's been dependable, it's everything that I've ever wanted in a gun. And it's $10 cheaper, so if you're tight on a budget, that's $10 that you get to save.
Alright, so you've had the opportunity to hear from a couple of the guys here at Airsoft. GI, all of us play Airsoft. You've heard from our technicians, and a lot of us tech our own guns as well. The slight favorite seems to be for the VFC. Looks like the internal build quality and the external looks are overshadowing the lower price tag and the high cap magazine of the Classic Army. My personal choice would be the VFC as well if I were to spend my own money on the gun. I'm not a big mid-cap kind of guy. That is kind of a downer for me, but I do like the looks of the gun, and I've also had the opportunity to see both internals side by side, so I would choose the VFC. The final choice is going to be up to you, though. Hopefully you have all the tools you need to make an informed decision.